Okay, so today's lesson is on writing a concluding paragraph. Yesterday we worked on the introduction, and just like the introduction, there are three parts that I want you to focus on. So, again, a lot of times there's confusion on what goes into a concluding paragraph. People aren't sure what to put. It doesn't need to be really long. I just want you to include these three specific parts. So, the first part, and this is on your handout. You need to restate your topic and why it's important. That's just a simple sentence that says, what is your topic, and remind your audience why it's important. The second is to summarize the 3 points of your thesis. Okay? Just give me a quick 1 or 2 sentence summary of what you've said in your body paragraphs and your thesis. This shouldn't be the exact same words as the thesis. You're not just repeating it. Summarize the points with the information that you wanted your audience to take away. And last of all is a call to action. This is what you want your audience to do with the information that you've presented to them. It could be something as simple as they need to reconsider their previous point of view. They should be appreciative for a certain person's contributions. Maybe you want them to do something more. Maybe you want them to write their elected representative, or maybe they need to go become active in some group or involvement. Tell them what they should do with the information now that they've read your entire essay. So that's in the first top left box on your handout. So here's an example thesis based on my example of Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell impacted the world through his invention of the telephone, his pioneering work with the deaf, and his research endowments. Those are the 3 prongs of your thesis and your thesis statement. What we're going to do is look how we set up a conclusion paragraph based on that thesis statement. So if you look at the example, the first thing I want you to do is identify in this example conclusion paragraph the restatement of the topic and its importance. So take a second. You can work with the person sitting next to you. Underline on your handout in that middle box there where it says example. Underline the restatement of the thesis, or excuse me, restatement of the topic and its importance. So take a second and underline that. Okay, so you should have this first line underlined. Alexander Graham Bell's contributions have become an integral part of modern life. It's saying it's important because they are part of everyday life, and it's reminding us of our topic, Alexander Graham Bell. The next thing I want you to do is look for the summary of the thesis and underline that. Take just a minute to underline the summary of the thesis. Okay, that will be the second line here. His inventions of the telephone, work with the deaf, and research endowments have had lasting effects on the world. So notice that I'm not just repeating exactly what I said. I'm stating that this has had lasting effects on the world. I'm summarizing it and drawing a conclusion from that. So it's not repeating in the same words or same sentence structure my thesis. I'm summarizing the points. Okay. Take a moment with your partner now and underline the call to action. Okay. So you should have underlined the last sentence. This is what people need to do with the information they've given them. Society owes a debt of appreciation to Bell and his revolutionary work. I'm just saying that people must or should appreciate who Alexander Graham Bell is and what he did for the world today. Okay. Things you should not do in a concluding paragraph. You should not repeat your thesis in exact words or sentence structure. Your audience knows what your thesis is. They just saw it. It was only 5 paragraphs ago. So please don't insult their intelligence by just verbatim repeating the thesis. The next new thing you should not do is introduce new points. You don't want to include new information that was not covered in your thesis or the main idea. This isn't the point to talk about how Alexander Graham Bell interacted with his wife or something like that. Okay? No new information in the conclusion. You're closing everything off. And you should not try and end your conclusion with a whiz bang or an emotional appeal. So please, no exclamation points. Don't say, Alexander Graham Bell was the greatest person of all time, and if you don't love him, you're a dork. or don't try and make it all mushy or sobby. If you were writing an essay on climate change, you wouldn't say something like, "And don't you feel like terrible and you should be more responsible because you're killing polar bears and little fish uh, if you keep driving your car." Those kind of things where you get emotion into it. Either you're trying to like get somebody all pumped up and excited, or make them feel bad or guilty for what they've done. That's inappropriate in a conclusion. So we don't want to end like that. You're just telling the audience what they should do with the information. All right, here's your practice. With a partner, you're going to write a conclusion paragraph for the following thesis. So turn to the person sitting next to you. You're going to work together, and you're going to write a conclusion paragraph using those three pieces based on this thesis statement. Facebook has significantly redefined communication, changed advertising methods, and influenced politics. Take a minute to write an. There goes the announcements. Take a minute to write your example concluding paragraph using that thesis statement. You may work with a partner. Take a few minutes. Okay. Now that we've heard some examples, here's an example paragraph that I came up with. Facebook has become an important element of today's society. It is easy to see how Facebook has affected communication, advertising, and even politics. In order to use Facebook effectively and appropriately, individuals should gain an understanding of its impact and potential. I'm reminding people that it's important because it's used all the time in today's society. I'm showing that the impacts are clear when I summarize my thesis, and I'm telling them that what they should do with this information is get at least an understanding so that they can use it correctly and appropriately and well. Okay. Take a few minutes now. You have a few minutes to write your concluding paragraph. You may work silently, and you will have that checked as you leave the room as usual. Good luck.